Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you guys have some fun plans in store for the weekend. I don't really have anything to report as far as updates in the markets. Interest rates have once again kind of maintained themselves. There's subject to potential increases later down the road, but as of right now, we're still sitting in the mid to high sevens. With that said, though, the topic that I've really been discussing and thinking about a lot this week is the differences between purchasing in a very, very high seller's market when the interest rates were low versus buying today when rates are higher, but demand is less. So, what I wanted to do, I feel like I do a lot of talking, but not a lot of showing, is I put together a side by side comparison of some of my clients' transactions in both scenarios so that we could kind of see the differences in what they were paying then versus what they're paying now. And the reason why I think this is important is because everybody is under this impression that we really missed the boat if you didn't buy in the COVID times because the interest rates were so low. And to some degree, I definitely agree with you. If I could go back and do things again, I would probably purchase more homes at that time, but we are where we are. And the message that I really just want to drive home is that although we may have missed this time when interest rates are low, we're in a season right now where there's so much negotiating to be done for buyers that I just feel like we're not really thinking about that for some reason. And Ryan Serhant recently just put out a video talking about how once you've purchased a home, you can never go back and change the purchase price. It's yours, you own it, you've paid the premium for it. What you can change, however, is this interest rate. So, um, when the rates inevitably come down, you can absolutely refinance your home loan and get a lesser rate. And right now, so many lenders are offering free refis. I just feel like that's something that in itself deserves a lot of attention. We're seeing a decrease in sales prices and list prices right now. So why not try to get a lesser payment on a home right now, or excuse me, a lesser purchase price on a home right now, and then we'll work on getting you a lesser payment when the interest rates do come down because they will. So quickly, I just want to kind of like do a side by side comparison here. What I have up here right now is some of my great clients, Andrew and Cindy. We bought our first home together in 2021. List price on that home was $285,000. We ended up paying $320,000 for it. Also waived appraisal contingency, and we bought this home with no negotiations, didn't ask for any repairs, couldn't ask for any credits. It was what it was, and that's how we had to accept this home. Now, fast forward into today's market, we found a home that was initially listed at $350,000. It had only been on market for a couple of days, but we went under contract at $340,000. Now, during our inspection window, we found some pretty costly expenses that we needed to take into consideration. One, it had solar panels. Two, it needed some roof work, and there was various other items in this home. It's an older home, so we ended up getting $20,000 in concessions to offset some of these costs. Now, the best part I think in this particular scenario is that they came to the table with no closing costs out of pocket. And additionally, this was at the beginning of the year when interest rates were starting to get a little bit higher. They weren't nearly as high as they are today, but people were becoming a little reluctant about buying because the rates had increased significantly since last year. But we were able to get them a rate buy down, so that was really helpful as well. And they came to the table with just their down payment money and nothing else. Another quick one of my investor clients, our first home we bought together in 2021 was initially listed at a little under 440,000. We ended up purchasing for 457,000. I also want to just mention that although my client was putting down more than 25% on this house, we still wrote so many offers just to get him accepted on one that he wasn't getting bid out by cash buyers or somebody who was willing to pay like outrageous amounts of money for. So we ended up going under contract for a little over $17,000 above the list price. We did buy the home as is, and we waived our appraisal contingency on this property as well. Now, fast forwarding into 2023, there was a home in Glendale that had been on market for quite some time at $475,000. We ended up going under contract on this one at $405,000, which is incredible. $70,000 off the list price was enormous, obviously. We closed on this home in 10 days. He was a cash buyer, so that scenario is a little different, but we were able to get it to the closing table really, really quickly. And the coolest thing about this one is that he will have fully paid this property off within 14 years based on the rent that he collects on a monthly basis, meaning that everything he makes after that 14-year mark is 100% profit. And then another one that really makes me super happy, Becca and Dallin in 2021, we wrote many, many offers before we got this one accepted. But we ended up going under contract on a home in Surprise that was initially listed at $350,000. We got it under contract for $365,000. We ended up waiving our appraisal contingency. We had to lessen our inspection period, and we did buy this property as is. Um, but the thing I really wanted to showcase on this one is, as you can see here, the mortgage payment on this was a little less than $2,100. Everybody's under this big illusion, and in most cases, it is true that the payments were so much less expensive back then because the rates were lower than they are today. But in this particular scenario, which is definitely a feasible scenario, it is quite the opposite. So fast forwarding into 2023, they've sold their home in Surprise, moving into Maricopa. There was a home that they found that was listed just under $350,000. We ended up going under contract on this one for $335,000. In addition to getting less off of the list price, we also were able to negotiate $15,000 in concessions. So they bought this temporary buy down, which has, as you can see here, their mortgage payment for right now is $1,600 a month. But they also came to the table with no closing costs out of pocket. So this was a very cool situation. They saved a lot of money, which was their goal in moving to begin with. So it worked out so well for them. Now, I won't say that I think that this scenario works for everybody. I'm definitely the first one to tell you if I just don't think that this is feasible or not, or I would encourage you that maybe renting is a situation that is better suited for you at this time. But if you're thinking of making some sort of a move, I would just encourage you to reach out and see what we can do. And with that said, just hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If I can be of service to you or anybody that you know, I would absolutely love the opportunity. And I hope you have a great weekend.